Hey everybody, it's Matt. We're going to do a brand new deck tech here for you guys today. And got a spicy build that I've been kind of running this week. And we tested it out today and it did pretty well. And I've got a special guest with me, so she can say hello whenever she wants.
Hey everybody.
It is my gal Jacqueline, and we did a lot of testing today. And I've been playing this mostly over the last couple days and I really enjoy it. It is a blue Decepticon deck that focuses on your boy Darkmount. I love Darkmount. Now, in the original comics and the cartoons, he was called Rollermaster and Straxus. So this deck is called Straxus Unbound. Don't know why, just sounds kind of funny, a little bit edgelordy, but I enjoy it.
Pretty cool.
It's pretty cool. So Darkmount is the focus of this deck, and this is entirely a blue-based deck with high defense, which is high defense. Yes. So we're gonna go ahead and introduce his partners, which are Demolisher, your girl Flamewar. Oh, she's in her bot mode, and then this little guy, Deadend. This equals up to 25 stars. But before we get into the deck breakdown, what the characters do and how they interact, we do have to mention that if you're looking for singles for Star Wars Destiny or for Transformers TCG, make sure you check out topdecktcg.com and use the promo code MADFER to get 10% off your entire order, which is great, especially if you're looking for cards. I know I'm still looking for a few ones that I got to finish off for my Wave 2 lists, but we'll go ahead and get into this deck right away. So, how was your experience playing this deck there, Jack?
Well...
how did you like playing against it?
Tough.
Tough?
It was tough.
It was tough, yeah. Yeah, it was tough. And how'd you like when you were playing it?
I felt pretty good.
It was pretty good? Yeah.
Yeah, taking no damage from a big attack. I'm sorry, guys. Spoilers.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Spoilers?
Spoilers.
All right. So
I'll let Matt here get to it.
So let's talk about the deck. So first of all, this deck is going to focus primarily on Darkmount right here. So on your first turn, if you are on the play, I mean, you go first, you're going to want to flip Flamewar no matter what, because she gives all of your characters tough 1, and that'll be essential to keeping them alive. You're going to want to make sure that you attack with Darkmount first, or if you're feeling cheeky, you can attack with Demolisher. So depending on what you draw in your hand. On the second turn, you're going to want to make sure if your hand isn't exactly what you're hoping for and you haven't drawn what you need, flip Deadend for the draw, which lets you draw 1 card, or you can go ahead and flip Darkmount to give a bit more defense against ranged characters. The only time you're going to want to flip Demolisher if you want to kind of get in there and be a little bit greedy and try to get an extra card draw off of Darkmount. So what are these characters' abilities and what do they do? So first of all, Deadend is a Stunticon. He's ranged on both sides. He is a car. His defenses and attack are pretty mediocre, but the ability that he has here that makes him great is that he has built-in tough 1, and when you flip to his bot side, you can draw a card. Flamewar is pretty much the MVP of common cards, I feel, in Wave 1. I think everyone loves Flamewar. I mean, she is a motorcycle and specialist in her bot mode. Her attack and defense are pretty mediocre, but she has some pretty great health for a 5-star character. Also, when you flip to her alt mode, each of your characters get bold 1. We're not going to really ever flip her back. You're going to want to make sure she stays in bot mode, which gives each of your characters tough 1. Next is Demolisher. Demolisher is going to always attack in his tank mode. You're going to never attack in his bot mode. So never attack in bot mode, always in your alt mode. When you flip back to his alt mode, you get to draw 1 card for each of your tanks. Since you only have 1 other tank, that's really only ever going to net you 1 card, but it will let you get some extra defense if you want to kind of just defend against an attack. And Darkmount, he can kind of go back and forth from each side. He is ranged in his alt mode and he is melee in his bot mode. He has, when you flip to this mode, you may scrap a card from your hand. If you do 2 damage to an enemy, which is coming to play multiple times when you're taking out characters that are hiding away. And when he's in his bot mode, when this defense against a ranged character, he gets +2 defense. There's quite a bit of ranged characters, so this does come up quite a bit, and some people do forget his triggering modes. So those are what the characters do. You're going to want to make sure you flip Flamewar turn 1, as I mentioned. Swing in with one of these guys, depending on what you do for your armors, and then always come in last with Deadend or Flamewar. So those are the characters. Let's talk about the deck and how they kind of just work together. So our actions that we play in this deck, we're playing 3 copies of the card Hunker Down. Hunker Down is an amazing card from Wave 1 that hasn't seen a whole lot of play. It is an action that lets you flip each of your characters from bot mode to tank mode. So that will only flip Demolisher and Darkmount. It won't flip Flamewar and Deadend, so you got to remember that. Then, for each of your tanks that isn't upgraded with an armor, put an armor on it from your scrap pile. So you have to resolve Hunker Down first, so that you'll go ahead and grab the armors in your scrap pile, then place them on your tanks. Then after that, you can go ahead and resolve any of their abilities that flipped when they went back into alt mode, such as drawing an extra card from Darkmount with Demolisher's ability, and then discarding a card from Darkmount to do 2 damage. So that can always kind of just net you a little bit of damage and some card draw. Next is 3 copies of Inspiring Leadership. This deck has quite a bit of armors that you're going to want to be tossing into your scrap pile, those being spoilers, Superior Plating, or the double pip cards that you're not really going to be using at the time. Inspiring Leadership lets you draw the cards you need and then discard the ones you don't. There's been times when I was digging and you were digging for armor or things that we needed, and we drew it from Inspiring Leadership, which won us the game.
Yep.
So, pretty good.
Crucial card.
Crucial. Next is 3 copies of Marksmanship. Marksmanship is a unique card that has been kind of funny. It can take out a bot later on in game, but it's very specific. This says if you have a ranged character on the battlefield, do 2 damage to an enemy that's in bot mode. Now, when you look at your characters here, almost all of them have a ranged subtype except for Flamewar. Flamewar does not have any range. So if you only got her left, this is a card you're going to want to toss. So Demolisher is ranged in his tank mode, but not in his bot mode. Dark mode is ranged in his tank alt mode, but not in bot mode. And Deadend's ranged at all times. So these guys will always let you access the Marksmanship, but if you lose them and you're only left with Flamewar, this won't actually be that effective. It's very important to try to make sure that you get Pierce and armor on your characters to protect them and keep them alive, because Marksmanship, though it is good doing 2 damage, it's mostly there to clear off an enemy and take them out, while but you have to make sure you're protected first. So only play this when you really need to finish someone off. Next is going to be 3 copies of Pep Talk. Pep Talk lets you draw 2 cards. It's pretty simple, pretty straightforward. Lets you go ahead and grab 2 cards from the top of your deck, put them in your hand. It's a blue pip. Next.
Solid card.
Solid card. Security Checkpoint. Man, this card is so good. I love it. I like to play even in my orange decks. It really offsets your opponent's hand, and the fact that you can just completely just neutralize them on a turn. I was playing against Jacqueline, and I was coming in for the win, but she security checkpointed my grenade launcher, my bashing shield, everything out of my hand, and just it came down to just crushing me. So it is a double blue pip card that gives you more on defense when you flip. It lets each player reveal their hand and scrap all upgrades from it. Now, there'll be times when you have a Handheld Blaster or an armor that you want to kind of get in your scrap pile so you can hunker down back onto the tanks. This will be great for that. Also, it kind of just clears your opponent's hand. Next is 3 copies of The Bigger They Are. A lot of your characters have small stars, so Demolisher, Flamewar, Deadend are all under about 6 stars, so this is a great target for them. There'll be rare times when Darkmount will be the target for The Bigger They Are, but it will come into effect sometimes. It gives your character Pierce 4 and +2, so it stacks pretty well with the equipment that also gives you Pierce as well. Last but not least for the actions are 2 copies of Vaporize. Now, we've gone through and looked at different actions to play in this deck. We thought about just cutting Deadend and playing some star cards, but we found that the Leap into Battles and the Universal Networks and the Vandalize, they would always come at times where we didn't really need them, and having a 4th character just really helped us out and spread out the damage and also let us dictate where we wanted to go, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so Vaporize will let you knock off those enemy upgrades that are giving you a bit of a hassle. If you're playing against certain decks, it will definitely put you ahead.
Or take a force field out.
Or take a force field out. Now, those are the actions that are in the deck, and we're going to go ahead and take a look at the upgrades. So the upgrades, we're playing quite a bit. We're playing 3 copies of Handheld Blaster. This has been around for Wave 1. You're never ever going to want to play this on your characters. It gives them bold 1. Your character, there's no orange in the deck, so why would you do it? No, never.
But it's in the deck for the double blue, right?
It's in the deck for the double blue pip and for some other cards that we'll talk about. Next is 3 copies of Piercing Blaster, a classic. It hasn't seen as much play since Noble and Scoundrel's Blaster has been around, but I think it's just as good. It gives your characters Pierce 3. A lot of your characters have an attack of 3, and don't forget, Pierce only lets you do damage directly like that through an attack as long as you have the attack forward. So if I attack with Deadend and he only has 2 attack, and I have Pierce 3, I'm only ever going to do 2 damage because I can only deal as much damage, Pierce damage, as I have damage on my character. So, or attack. I shouldn't say damage. Yeah.
Quick reminder.
Quick reminder. You can only do as much damage as you have damage to do. Next is 3 copies of Reinforced Plating. A solid choice. This is a armor that gives you tough 2. It's been around since Wave 1. You've probably seen it a couple times. This is a solid choice for Flamewar and Deadend because you're not going to be able to Superior Plating the next card that's coming up on these guys, because Hunker Down only lets you put it on your tanks, and we're not wasting a spot for tech research just to get those out there. So Reinforced Plating can go on these guys to save them later on. You may want to put it on your tanks if you just can't fish out an armor, but these are the targets for these characters over here. Next is 3 copies of Scoundrel's Blasters. Scoundrel's Blaster is a weapon that is fetchable. It has a green pip, so when you reveal it during an attack or a defense, you can swap a card in your hand with it and then just scrap the other one. So it gives your character +2 attack. It can only be put on Decepticons and Pierce 2 when they're attacking an Autobot, which is essential and super good. Like earlier today, Jacqueline asked me why are we playing Scoundrel's Blaster over Piercing Blaster? Why should I play this over this? Let's say if you're attacking a Decepticon, right? Mm-hmm. The Piercing Blaster will go ahead and do more damage.
Exactly.
Yeah. Security Console. This is the defense version of a data pad. What it does is when someone attacks you, when you're defending, you get to draw a card and then plan 1, which lets you put 1 card from your hand on top of your deck. So there'll be instances when someone's coming at you where you can go ahead and draw a card, and then let's say you have one of these double blue cards that you want to put, you can go ahead and just toss this one on top and take the other card that you drew to get a higher defense value. Also, it just lets you draw a card if you get to keep it. Next is a card that I've been kind of swapping in and out. Spare Parts is what seems to be the keeper. We were playing Evasive Maneuvers, we were playing Thermal Weaponry, and we were playing Sparring Gear. But this one seems to kind of just stay here in general because the extra white pip trigger to flip more blue defense, and also the ability to save your weapon and your armor. Bashing Shield is a thing, and Bashing Shield will knock off most of your armors because it's everywhere in every aggro deck. This will stop them from placing down that armor. Nothing like playing Hunker Down, slapping some armor on both your tanks, then dropping a Spare Parts on Darkmount or Demolisher. Makes them mad.
It's an excellent play.
It's an excellent play, yes. And last but not least is Superior Plating. Superior Plating is from Wave 2. It is a armor. Now, you can never actually play this from your hand because there are no tech researchers in the deck. This will be fished out from the card we mentioned before called Hunker Down. You can go ahead and use Inspiring Leadership, which lets you draw 3 and discard 2, to go ahead and toss Superior Plating into your scrap pile, and then use Hunker Down on a prior turn to fish it out. Or if someone's attacking into you and you have Superior Plating in your hand, you can swap it using your Security Console and then next turn play Hunker Down to get that out there. There are multiple ways to kind of just get that out and have it actually be effective. So remember that whenever you have this in your hand, you're going to want to toss it. Also, if you have Darkmount, when you flip back to his alt mode, he can scrap a card to do 2 damage. That's a great card to go ahead and toss out, which is Superior Plating. Having tough 4 on your characters is really hard to pull through, and if someone can't draw that armor removal or just an upgrade removal, it's really going to save your characters and be effective. I couldn't even blast through it with cars. Yeah, it was gross. Yeah, so those are the upgrades in the deck. That is the basis of how the deck plays. And yeah, that's pretty much it for this deck. I really enjoyed it. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it is. I really like it. Don't play a lot of heavy blue, but for heavy blue, I really like this.
Yeah, and I mean, you're more of an aggro player, right? So yeah, it's
I'm getting used to it.
It's nice to see you play a little bit of blue because you kind of had an evil smile when you were playing that.
Especially playing that Hunker Down.
Oh, I know. It's greasy. Yeah. So anyways, thanks for watching. That is that's our deck here. We hope you really enjoy it and you try it out. This actually, I think you could probably take this to an event and do pretty decent. It'd probably throw some people off.
Yep.
You may not do good against bugs, but I mean, you could probably still have a pretty good time. Just don't get upset if you if you lose.
Don't blame us.
Don't blame us. But so as always, thanks everyone for watching. I always appreciate talking to everybody down below in the comments. Feel free to leave down a comment and tell us what you think about the deck. What would you prefer? Or what would you change? Like, comment, subscribe, smash that like button, all that.
Smash that like
Smash
button.
that.
Smash that subscribe button
Yes.
for this great guy.
It's a great guy, yeah. But yeah, that's the deck. Oh, and by the way, we want to make sure we do a couple channel shout outs as always. Make sure you check out Vector Sigma. I'm sure if you search them, you'll find them. Make sure you check out Wreck and Rule. The guys at Wreck and Rule,
they're great.
Great dudes. Check out Wassy Plays for card reviews. Anybody else I'm missing?
We already mentioned Top Deck.
Yeah, Top Deck. Yeah, that's for buying cards. Oh, and I believe it is Transformers TCG Deck Techs. Make sure you check out that channel as well because they do have some spicy builds as well. So that is everything. I'm rambling, so have a great day and thanks.
Hope you enjoyed.
Hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching. Peace.